Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Welcome back to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. This is Season 3, Episode 4, the first episode of Day 2. My name is Daniel Martinez Stahl. As always, I'm honored to be here with you guys. For those of you joining us live, thank you so much for being with us. As always, please feel free to interact with us, ask questions, raise your hand. We'll do our best to bring you into the conversation in whatever way you're comfortable with. For those of you listening to the recording, we love you being here as well. These messages are for you as well. So regardless of when you are listening to this conversation was co-created by all of our guides for us to listen to and benefit from. So, Florentine, let me start by giving you the opportunity to introduce yourself, and then we will go from there.
Yes, I've got one thing to say before now. It just occurred to me, we are in the middle of heavy thunderstorms. They closed down the airport, so let's hope for the best, because we did everything to secure the internet connection, but I do hope it will stay on. So if I leave, then it's out of my powers.
And on that note, I've got my computer that beeps every once in a while, and when it does, it drops my connection. And so I might say to you that my connection froze and you might need to repeat yourself. So
okay,
perfect.
Well, we're a sorry pair, Daniel, today. Yeah, well, let's hope that divine feminine will come in. So hi everyone, I'm really happy and honored to be here. It's a true honor for me. I'm excited. As well, I really value you all coming in, or the ones who are watching the replay later, because I know how valuable all our time is, and we all have to make choices. So I really thank you so much. Today, I'm Florentine. My company is called Bubbles for Your Soul. I've been guiding, supporting women, intuitive women mostly, for more than 30 years already to align with their spiritual path. And besides that, I help to translate the messages of animals, companions, of trees, of plants, of rocks, to the people who are willing and able to hear them, and who needs a little bit of translation. I'm a spiritual intuitive coach. I'm a mentor. I am a shamanic practitioner. I talk, and I'm a published author. So I'm combining it all because I can't stand being stuck in one field. And today, after the invitation to talk, the title came through of using the secrets of the divine feminine. Yes, Daniel, tell me.
As I said, my computer just froze on me. So the last thing I heard was that you're an intuitive coach, and then you just froze.
Okay. I will repeat.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay. So I'm an intuitive spiritual coach, mentor. I'm a shamanic practitioner. I've got a lot of tools under my belt, and I'm as well. I talk on summits, and as well, I'm a published author. And well, I'm in fact Beth. I'm being published in one of the books in the book of Anna Maria. So I'm really proud of that, and it's about grandfather tree. Today's topic will be the first talk in a upcoming series for me, and it's about using the secrets of the divine feminine to evolve. And normally I would have put behind that and align with your spiritual path, but it was going to be a bit long, so I cut it down. And what came through for me was, why would we want to do this? Why on earth are we willing to put in all this work to align, to evolve, and to align with our spiritual path? And what came through for me is that we all want to know that there's a purpose, that we live our purpose. I mean, the people who are here, that we are really doing what we're set out, intended to do. And what came through for me is, and that ties in a little bit as well with the divine feminine, is that it's not about the doing, but it's about the being who we are. So our purpose is to be that authentic person we truly are. And to reach that point, we need to shed layers. And well, that's not always fun, but it's always worthwhile, and it will always help us to evolve. And for me, that's the reason to set out and do all the work. As well, I think I hear a lot of talking that the world nowadays is there's a new world coming in, everything like that. And I feel when we really want to see that new world employing, it means that we need to change ourselves first. Change yourself, the world will follow. It's not about doing the work there and not working on ourselves, not changing ourselves, but it's all, we need to take the steps. We need to grow on our path, and then the world will follow. And we will be helped, of course, with a lot of things. First, the law of the 100 monkeys. When a certain percentage of people reach that point, um, the rest will follow. There's no way around it. And I think it was an experience on a Japanese island. They were trying to teach monkeys to wash their fruit, something like that. I don't know. Did you ever hear about that one, Daniel? I think so. Eh?
Yeah,
And
I don't remember the exact story, but it is,
yeah,
you can all, anybody that's interested in it can always Google this because it is available online.
yes, and it's very interesting. I found it intriguing because at a certain point, I think would say the 99th monkey of the tribe was washing its fruit, and then at once all the same monkeys, but not all living on that island, were washing their fruit. So it became part of the subconscious field.
So
So
the way that it was presented to me, or what I came across, was that there was a secluded group of monkeys that were being taught a certain skill set. And once they hit 100 monkeys within that island, they started noticing that monkeys in other parts of the world started doing the same thing.
yes,
And so there's
yeah,
this shared consciousness
yes,
where once a certain percentage hits a breaking point, then that skill set is shared amongst the shared consciousness, regardless of whether or not they're on the island or they're in South America. And
yes.
so that's really what's powerful about that story.
Yeah, and it's fascinating, and that's for me the reason to evolve, to try to grow again. And as well, we don't do it on our own. We've got loads of allies there. We've got all the nature beings. We've got the angels, the you name it. We've got it. They're all there for us. And as well, we've got the divine feminine aspects coming in, the powers, the real big powers of the ones God sent to us, and we can rely on them as well. So, and we can tap into that. We can try to work with them. Often they're goddesses, or as well archangels, or mermaids, grandmother whale, the moon. We can tap into all that knowledge and to to shed another layer and to grow again. So to me, that's really comforting that we're not doing it on our own, but just doing it.
And there's also
And
an element where, let me just kind of jump in here really quick, exactly what you're talking about. There's an element where everyone is talking about how the world is evolving. And what you are inviting us to recognize is that the world will present itself once we evolve, once we allow ourselves to expand into this new experience. The world is already ready for us to experience that. And so there's an element where looking out for ourselves individually, to some degree being selfish, is actually a selfless act, because as we focus on ourselves, we will allow ourselves to open up into an incredible space that the world is inviting us to start playing in. And in doing so, then we start showing other people that it's possible, because they see it within us, and energetically, not that we're necessarily verbally telling people follow me, but they will see you, and then they're going to recognize that they can find that within themselves. So there's this cumulative effect, and this is what the 100 monkey idea is.
Yes, and absolutely. And I think that, yeah, I believe the Dalai Lama, what you were talking about, that being selfish, he calls it the selfish wise, the wise selfish. And I strongly believe in that. We should take care first of ourselves, and then we can give from an overflowing cup. But I've learned that. I didn't always know this. I tended to overgive, and then got resentful. As well, I think to be that evolved, that enlightened person, it means that you are the beacon of light. What you say as well, you don't need to talk to people, follow me, or to be that leader. Just be that light, as pure as you can be. Just take the time to take out all the spots, to clean it, to cleanse, to everything, do what you possibly can, because we're still humans, we're still this lifetime. And I feel as well that with this new world, it needs a new to come in. It needs a new balance point, and that balance point, and I was shown by the goddess I'm going to talk about, is it needs to be. There needs to be a new balance point between the masculine and the feminine energies. Let me start that we all have those energies in us. We all, it doesn't matter if we're female, if we're male, if we're gender neutral, if we're, I don't care. Every sentient being has these two yin yang energies in itself. We own it. So we can count on that overarching divine feminine and energy, and that one is really surging in nowadays. I feel there's so much attention being called upon using the divine feminine. And oh, you're still there, yeah. And it doesn't surprise me, because I feel our world is totally out of whack. During the years, I think the focus has come to lean on to be the powerful, the male energy, the masculine energy, and that one is very goal orientated, is really dependent on power, enforcement, and by doing so, the divine feminine energy in all of us has been submerged. So it's a hot topic to me, divine energy. And I was really wanting to feel into it. What does it mean? What does it mean? What's the general meaning? What does it mean? And I like to invite all of you right now to follow me in a small process, in small practice, so we can set up that safe circle for us and the people who are watching later. And as well to find out what's connected to you, what's your sense, your feeling, your image when we talk about divine feminine. And to do so, and this is a practice one of my cherished mentors gave me, so I'm very grateful to her. Thank you, Susan. And now I'd like you all just to close your eyes and just to sit, and try to sit as comfortable as you can. And take a deep breath in through your nose. And allow an exhale with sound to let go all you can let go of. Maybe you rush to come here. And inhale new energy and insights. Allow this energy to spread through your body. And exhale and let go of all you don't need right now. And once more, inhale deeply. Feel yourself centering. And while exhaling, feel yourself grounding deep, deep into Mother Earth. And high, high into the realms of all that is, the divine realms. And use your grounding cords. The grounding cord is the one who is located at the base of your spine, and the other that is located at the top of your head. And just feel the connection between all that is and Mother Earth, the deepest, highest connection, and you're in the middle. And this is the safe container. We're all together right now, and we're going to explore what does divine feminine means for you today. So maybe just and it can change every day. It can change. Some core words for divine energy are nourishing, creative, compassion. And now please put your hand on your heart and ask yourself, whenever you hear that word, divine feminine, what comes up for you? And just allow the answer to come in. Allow your mind to go flat, a little bit wide, just to a little bit more diffuse, and just keep breathing and concentrating on your heart. What does the divine feminine, what comes up for you? And don't dismiss what's coming up for you.
Do you want people to put what comes up in the chat?
Yes, as soon as they return. So I'm going to invite all of you to return right now to the here and the now. And then I'd like you to share what comes up for you. Do I see the chat? Ah, here. Hey, Marybeth. Yes, intuition, compassion, divine masculine, sure, as well. Love, yes, love. Softness and love. I see encouragement. Yes, it's all that. And it's as well, it's that deep love, and it's the abundant love. It's the fertile, it's creativity, it's that compassion. It's all that beauty, that light, that sparkly. It's as well the balance with the divine masculine, and we'll tap into that a little bit later. But it's and I was as well intuiting in, and to me it as well for the divine feminine, what came up is it's more diffuse. It's diffuse. It's allowing. It's just the taking the time, the patience. Beautiful, powerful light, beautiful, and it's well luscious. It's the ability to dive deep into the emotional realms of one's person, to be connected, spirituality, to listen to the intuition, and to not be scared of emotions. There is as well a darker side. It's not only the light and the bubbly and everything like that. There's always light and shadow. There's day and light. There's birth and death, and that as well is part of the divine feminine. And the being that came in today, who is really focused on that transformational work, the dark shadows, is the dark moon goddess Lilith. Did one of you ever hear about her before? Can you put it in the chat? Did you ever hear about Lilith? She's as well named the first wife of Bev doesn't, or the first wife of Adam. Mary Beth did. And there is a Penny that did. And well, Lilith, there is the story and there is her story. And the fun thing, because, well, for the ones who don't know me, I am a lawyer. So nowadays when I do approach a new concept or fact or anything like that, I'll try to, I'm going to channel first into it. And I've been doing this. Yes, Black Lilith, so true. And as well, and then after a while, when I've got my information from that subject, intuited, channeled it, I'm going to check it in a book. And I was really happy to notice that actually the same images he did send me were described in that book. But Lilith is being put away like the first wife of Adam. And not a lot of people know that there was a first wife of Adam. I remember once reading it, and I was really, I was mesmerized by it. I don't know why. Eve never really called to me, but that's because I haven't been brought up religiously. So probably that's something that has to do with that. But Lilith was the first wife of Adam. Before that, she was a very, very powerful moon goddess in Mesopotamia. She has been named in the first epic of the Gilgamesh or something, the first book in the world. And she was really honored. And she came, she was the moon goddess. And well, moon goddesses, the moon rules our emotions. We are all, the moon is reflective. Sometimes the bright sunlight is too bright, but the moon reflects, make things, goes into the dark in the night. It rules the night. And as well, the moon rules the bodies of water in the world. And as we can all see, the ebb and the flood and everything like that. And our body exists, of course, of 90% of water or something in that percentage. And we are being ruled by the moon as well. The moon is feminine. That's quite universal. We see the moon as grandmother moon, as feminine. And thus the moon really offers us the opportunity to tap into our emotions. So she started out as that really powerful moon goddess. And there are still numerous statues of her in musea, and I would say in the ground. And then they made her into the first wife of Adam. What I've did, just a side note, she told in the book, and I was surprised by that, she was not the first, they were not the first humans, there were more humans. And to me that felt right. So, but the story of the Bible starts with, but I think it was a different development, different evolution or something like that. Lilith became our first wife of Adam. And Adam, he wanted her to obey. And she didn't want to do that. She couldn't do that. And she took the consequence. Well, and then the Bible or the church fathers told, and it's not only the church fathers, it's as well the other Judaic religions, they were telling that, okay, she wasn't obeying, so she had to be sent out of the Garden of Eden. And she was banned, exiled from it. Her story is a little bit different. I can promise you this. And then, and to me, and I was always, and she was demonized. She was really put away as the bad women. Actually, as Eve was later as well, because all fell upon Eve. If she didn't took the forbidden fruit, nothing would have happened. The thing is, what happened there is that the women were very powerful. There were matriarchal cultures, and as well the males, the males were really afraid of the powers of the females. So they did everything to break down that power, what they could do. So they started to demonize the Lilith, and she was the source of all evil. She was the one who was source, who was leading men astray, who was devouring children. She was the real bad woman. And when that happened, she would just, there was that, and women really, they didn't know where to turn anymore. So, and we all know what happened after that, because, well, the last vestige of real great female power, like Avalon, Morgan Le Fay, they were being broken down in horrible ways. The witches were prosecuted, and there was no other way for our divine feminine knowledge and sight just to dive deep and to get into hiding, because it was getting too dangerous, so dangerous to be in tune with your emotions, with the magic, with of all there is, or your spirituality. There was just a religion. And I think nowadays it has changed, but for many years the religion was something that has been given by the by male. They were the translators. They were only the powerful, and women were weak. They didn't know anything, and the only thing what was really valued was the thinking and the logic. As well, yes, you're right, Chara. She's also known as the mother of the demons, because by that story that she was leading men astray, she was in a way getting her children born, and that were her children, and because she was demonized, they were her demons. there is an other side of this as well. As I see it, it all reached its worst moment in time when Descartes in the Renaissance told everyone, "Je pense donc je suis." I think, therefore I am. I think that's the right translation. Is this true? And I don't know if you all know this, but and then it's good, and she is and really by that time women were really set aside. So the female power, the divine feminine living inside of us had to bow for the divine masculine, and it did, because there was no other way. I remember that I think in our country, I feel, well, not my generation, but my mom, she really had to stop working when she got married. There was no way around. And not that long ago, women in my country, the Netherlands, I live in the Netherlands, they were not able to sign their own test contracts or everything like that. That's the moment they married, everything that was being ruled by their husbands. And lately, I think there was it the Kate and William, they were married, that royal couple from England, and she didn't say that she omits to say that she was going to obey her husband William. And I was just thinking, 2020, I have no idea when they got married, but how on earth obey? To me, it's really old-fashioned. So you can feel that I'm really swept up in the nowadays current of Lily's story, and that she's really the figurehead of the feminists. She's being seen as that woman who has always been put aside and been diminished, but didn't want to break, and just took her own power, left, and just she is the one who's liberated, and who is just, and she's as well worshipped as the goddess of for the magic witches. Lily's story is a little bit different. Her viewpoint. She came into my awareness, and in hindsight, she has come before, but I wasn't. I really, well, besides knowing that I was mesmerized by now when I was reading about her, and she told me that I love that man. I really, really love that man. But yeah, Kelly, that's how we were programmed. But he took it as a sign that I was weak. He turned it around. And he took this opportunity to diminish me, to ridicule me, to shame me, to not to see me as not value me anymore. And something shifted in his consciousness, and I had no other choice than to leave, because I couldn't let it happen to me. But I was sent to be that goddess. I was sent to show humankind how to develop their female feminine side, and to incorporate the divine feminine. I was part of that really powerful wave, and she really showed me a wave, like you know those sound waves, but they can go like this, but this was really fluid and broad and everything like that. And she told me there were other aspects of the divine feminine, and we were sent by all that is. And okay, we needed to be honored for that, and to be put on that pedestal as a goddess, because that was those times before. But that was not the way. This was not why we came in. We came in to express and to balance the female with the masculine divine energy. And then, okay, Adam came, she loved that man, and she really didn't feel valued by him, and she was desperate. But remember, she loved him. And she told me as well, I tried to talk with him. I tried I argumented, loads of discussions, and I just couldn't take it anymore, so I left. But I left, and I was just on my own there. And I was wondering, where is God? Where is all that is? And she told me it was the same like when Lord Jesus was nailed on the cross. He lost his face for a moment. She did lost her face. She felt completely abandoned. She felt she was scared. She was lonely. She was name it. And she had it all because she was just there alone in a strange world, which was very bleak to her because, well, she just came from that divine energy into the world. And she was just desperate. And after a while, she was that desperate and alone, and there's then that story that a part of her became her husband, and well, that's all. That goes a little bit far this way, and she didn't show me exactly that part, so I'm not going to go into that. But what she showed me was that after a while she was so hurt, there was so much pain that she just covered it with anger and rage. And she told me as well, I went back, she told me I went back to ask, to look at Adam, to ask him if he couldn't resolve this, if he had missed me. And then there was Eve. And then that's where she got jealous as well, of course. And who wouldn't be? I think we can all recognize her part in us. And the rage came, and she decided to inflict as much pain as possible on others, so she didn't have to feel what was underneath it, all her shadow sides, the pain. She didn't want to face it anymore. She couldn't. And this had this happened. This was an ongoing process, and that's where the demons came from. And but after a longer time, and she was still feeling very, very abandoned and alone and isolated, and she really didn't know and what was happened. She was cut off from her spiritual source, and that hurt the deepest. And after a while, she really became aware that okay, she was doing this, but through the cracks of her, she was mad. She was totally mad, totally mad. And but through these cracks in her soul, the light started to come in a little bit, and she became aware that this was not her authentic self. And she fell into a deep, deep depression. And that story is being told in that epic of Gilgamesh. She was part of the tree from Yanana. What Yanana wanted that tree, and okay, and she for centuries or eons she went into a deep rest and to stop inflicting the pain on others, and she just wanted to rest. And this happened another time, and when she woke up again, she was given tasks by the archangels, and they told her, you are the only one, God tells us you're the only one who can do this. And she really didn't want to, because they were horrible. But she, as that dark goddess, and keep in mind, dark goddess is not doesn't mean evil. Dark is about the night, about going into the shadow sides. It's just lighting all those taboos we're not willing to share with others freely and willingly. We don't dare to admit them to ourselves, those underlying passions, sexuality, all that kind of stuff, the anger, the guilt, everything. But she was that dark. She was evil. So and somehow she was a very powerful person. So God gave her some things to do. She did them, and then she was really desperate. But after a while, she really transformed, because we're thinking, I can't do this anymore. I need to address my inner demons. And that's what she helps us with still, or even more today. She helps us to face our inner demons, our fears, our not so savory underbelly aspects. And she grew, and she started to understand that she agreed to this path, to walk this path, to do all she to set out. She did all what she did set out to do, because she was asked to heighten the divine feminine energy points. And and this was the way to reach us humans, and to do so. So in the end, when she got peace with it, and she got that, and this is all in a nutshell, because I've pages full with her notes, and in the end, she's just she became that crone, that very wise woman. She lived through all. teaches us, and she is that she's a tough mom now, because she's always been a good mother for her children. That was her other aspect. She protected them, and that part she took with her again, because that was her true self, and that was what she could rely on. And this is what she still is to all of us. She's a tough mother. She's a tough mother, and she is a really tough aspect of the divine feminine, and she is there to call upon. So this is her story in short. Do you have any questions, someone? Or I like Daniel, do you have a question or an insight? Or I'm calling on you because I can see you.
I don't necessarily have any specific questions. I guess what I would like to know is what is it that attracted Lilith to approach you with this subject?
I've asked her.
But you
I'm not
didn't ask
going.
her. You didn't ask her. Well, let me kind of back up a little bit. So when you kind of opened up yourself up to say, hey, what are we going to be talking about this time? Did she come to you, or did you have a specific question and you said, who's going to be the right person to address this? How did this whole relationship with you and Lilith come about?
She started to reach out to me when I was 21. And I see this now in hindsight. And one of her attributes is the owl. And I remember sitting in, I was commuting to the university by the time, a daily commuter by train, very old-fashioned train. And one day the train stopped. By that time, this was absolutely not normal. Nowadays, they never run on time. By that time, they were always running on time. This was really weird. And I remember there was one tree, and I was sitting there and I was looking outside, and there was that huge owl. You need to know that in the Netherlands, we don't have a lot of wildlife left. Not by that time, not nowadays. It's not like the States, it's not like the southern parts of Europe or other countries. The Netherlands is quite limited in its wildlife. And I was just staring at it, and the owl was just staring into my eyes. And that's when she made that connection. I didn't recognize it by that time. But when Lilith starts to work with you, you can be sure that she will push you into deep, dark nights of the soul. And she did. And then she has always been running there without me knowing, without me being aware. And she pushed me into the deep transformational work of the shadow work and everything what really fascinates me, because that's my work. That's where I help my clients with to transform those shadow sides, the inner child's work, all those the type of work. And then I remember reading about her and thinking, hey, Lilith. And then she was mentioned to me, and then she drushed in and she told me, I've waited such a long time till you opened up to me. And because I thanked her for coming in, and she thanked me for finally being that grown up or that evolved that I could allow her to come in. And then I was that black diamond with all the facets that she could talk to. So I think it's there's so much help. So probably my higher self prompted me, and Archangel Haniel, because I work a lot with Archangel Haniel as well, and she's a former moon goddess as well. And it's funny because to me she's pure joy and light, and she helps us to evolve our intuition, to let go of things what we don't need anymore to reach our goal. But Lilith she's not the opposite, but she's another aspect. She's as well the aspect of the dark moon. And I think I was ready. And she just, as soon as I opened up and I told her, and she told me, yes, it's me, Lilith. And finally, you're ready for me. So, and I was thinking, okay, I don't know if I want to know this, but yes, but I did. And I have to, and I think she is showing up for everyone Oh, that's the Archangel Haniel, Chara. And but now I lost my train of thoughts, and it happens.
That's okay. It happens. It happens.
It
So,
happens. Yeah.
given that your train got derailed,
Yeah.
the idea that really intrigues me is in the conversation that I had with Margot, because Margot and I spoke before the season started, and I'm going to be repeating her recording or her session later today. But one of the things that we talked about in that conversation that really struck me really profoundly is that the shadow aspects of the moon that represent themselves in the eclipse not only are helping us to bring to the surface the elements that are creating resistance in our lives, but it's also the same energy that helps us to transcend it. And
Yes.
that idea, and I mentioned this yesterday, I think with Ana Maria, because that idea was just like, that is so cool. I never thought about that, because a lot of times we think about these energies, these beings that bring to the surface our shadow, but
Yes.
we don't give them credit for then also helping us resolve it. We
Yes.
don't
And that, yeah.
recognize that. And so this is what, Lilith is aside from her story and whatever the story might be, the energy that she represents, or the energy that she's playing with, for me, is exactly that. She's an energy that allows us to look at the darkness of our experience, but to look at the darkness of our experience with beauty. And so that's
Yes.
what really appeals to me about her energy. And I would love to kind of get, her thoughts or your thoughts about that.
She I feel like Lilith, because she's exactly what you're talking. She does exactly what you're talking about as well. She lights. She put a spotlight on that dark shadow side, on the dark spots, and then she pushes us to, because we are going to embrace it. She doesn't want us to push it aside, to push it away, to push it under, because then it will come up like a volcano. But what she really helps us with, and that's one of her gifts, is to look at ourselves and love ourselves with all the light and the shadow aspects. And once you shine the light of that on the shadow aspects and the accepting, you can transcend it. It's automatically being transcended, so we can grow and evolve. And it's fascinating to me that this is because I didn't know what. Well, I know what Margot is talking about, but I don't know of course, because I haven't watched it. It's not possible yet. That this is coming up in this summit so strongly, that it's not that the bad, the evil is being taken out of the shadow sides, but that we can see the beauty of it. And as Lilith said, it's the black diamond. There is beauty in it, and there is beauty in it because it always serves. When we were already there was no need for us to be here, probably, when we were already all light and enlightened and everything like that. But we are we choose this human form. We choose to learn some lessons, and we can learn our lessons by embracing the light fully, and the joy, but as well we need to embrace those shadow sides, and just by shining the light, the shadow will disappear, because the guilt and the resistance is melting away. So we can look at the gift beneath the shadow side, like anger and guilt. And maybe this I can make it clearer. People often tell me, I feel guilty. Anger and guilt can be cover-up emotions. You need to dive deeper. What's underneath the anger? Why are you so angry? Is it because you don't feel seen? Is it because you are dismissed? Things like that. And you can transcend that, but you can only work with that piece when you know what's happening, when you acknowledge that you're angry. As long as you say, oh no, I feel fine, okay, they don't look at me, oh no, doesn't matter that they don't see me, it doesn't matter that they're always asking the things from me that I don't want to give, it doesn't matter that they belittle me. But above that, there is that anger, that rage. And I think we all feel that. And then when you go to the rage, that's the shadow. And underneath, there's the diamond, the rough diamond, ready to get into the light and to be transformed. And it takes work. Claudia asked something.
Yeah, so Claudia's talking about how she's got some anger in her experience, and she thinks that it comes from her childhood, and she's asking if there's anything that you can see about that.
Well, I would need a little bit more information, but what comes up in me for now is that not being valued for what you are, who you are. When you come into the world, we're coming there like, oh, look at me, but I'm here, me. And then your parent or your caretaker doesn't see it like that. You might be a nuisance. Maybe you were not completely planned to be born at that exact moment, things like that for them. And then they really want you to behave. And a lot of love from our parents, there is, or caregivers in the normal circumstances. A part of it is just unconditional love. Most part you need to earn. And when you need to earn it by behaving yourself and adjusting and adapting and everything like that, you need to you get angry. And you asked me, did your stepsister hurt you? I think there was a very strong jealous reaction. And that all ties into that, and that is hurtful when someone is jealous. And a stepsister can, of course, I mean, we're not all angels, can have hurt you, but I can't see that. I can't tell you for sure. But I know there are difficulties, and there's the anger of not being seen and valued for who you are, that beautiful, bright soul. And I would suggest to work with the anger problem, because it's something you can work with. It's an issue, and it's just a normal issue, and you can work with that. There are ways to do that. So
something that I'll just kind of add to that. So Claudia, I appreciate that you're looking for some guidance and some assistance with this. There's elements within the work that we do within these kinds of conversations during the summit or things like this, where we're able to provide you with some clarity on certain aspects of your experience. And there's certain aspects or certain questions that are better suited for a one-on-one conversation, where you're able to work with somebody directly and they can connect with you individually and are able to go deep into aspects of your connection and your experience. That kind of aspect might be more suited for the kinds of questions that I think you're looking for, or answers that you're looking for. There's also an element where, and I'm sorry, Florentine, there's also an element where sometimes we're looking for confirmation of our hurt and kind of something to point the finger to. And sometimes that's the kind of the easy way out, but it isn't the best way out. For me, the way that I approach things is I want to understand how the system of life works, how my mind works. And as I fall into certain traps and levels of engagement, that understanding helps me to navigate more effectively. And sometimes getting back to the source of the pain is helpful. And sometimes getting back to the source of the pain just adds more pain. And so how you go about doing that can make a big difference. So hopefully this is helpful, and sorry for kind of taking over, Florentine.
No, it's okay. It's beautiful, and actually, it's something I help people with. Yes, to and to get out of the story, because it's a story. It's a make believe, and it's all about as Daniel said, it's going to dive underneath the story, and you don't need to feel the, yeah, as you said as well, because I love that. You don't, sometimes it helps to feel it, and sometimes it helps better to hover above it. And some issues we are meeting in this life, of course, have their roots in other lives or past lives or ancestral lives. But to me, it's always better and the best just to do as Daniel suggested, to be interested what's underneath and not to point fingers, because you are, everyone, not you all, we all are responsible for our own beings, for our own boundaries. And that's what Lilith teaches us as well. She teaches us from, we can't point any fingers in. What Lilith really didn't was a victim. She never allowed herself to be victimized. And that's something we don't, we all, that's one of her gifts to us as well. We don't need to do that. We can really work through our problems, our issues, without pointing the finger. And
yeah. So having said
yeah,
that, because you talked about this, and I think this is really important to kind of bring up or to highlight, Lilith's energy is about empowerment. There's an aspect of our experience where recognizing our greatness is part of what Lilith is inviting us to see within ourselves. You know, recognizing the strength that we have to stand up for ourselves, to, you know, be strong within our presence, is part of what I believe, and I could be completely wrong, but that's the impression that I get of Lilith's kind of point of view. And as helpful as it is to have answers of why am I doing this, and why do I have this anger, and is it because my father beat me, or my mother did this, or my sister did this, or my brother did this, is it because of that? Well, fundamentally, and this is just being very blunt, and I'm sorry for being blunt, but fundamentally we are who we are because we created that. We're the ones that did it. We're the ones that responded to a certain situation and decided, well, this is a model that I'm going to create of how I'm going to respond to things because of an experience, but I'm the one that created that. So there's an aspect of self acceptance of ourselves as well as forgiveness of others, that it's kind of a bigger package and a kind of bigger conversation. But I think a big part of this, and I'm sorry, again, for me, a big part of this is the self-empowerment side of looking at our shadows, looking at our darkness, looking at the things that create the resistance within us, and feeling the power within ourselves to overcome that, to go beyond it, to shine a light on it and allow that shadow to diminish or dissolve or disappear. And that light comes from within ourselves, within our own strength, within our own recognition of what we're capable of. So hopefully that helps, Claudia. And again, as people have been saying in the chat, Florentine is amazing at this. She's really gifted in this space. And if this is something that you want to explore with her, I would highly recommend reaching out to her and seeing what you guys can do together. So hopefully that's helpful.
I have something to add to the insight. It's okay, we create our own traumas, but in a way, as a child, you don't always. You are really you need your caretakers. So, but of course, there is that higher perspective, and that's the creation of it. But as well, sometimes it's time to reparent your inner child. That child who was, and as Kelly said, there was judgment and everything like that. And it so needing to learn to that inner child, that child who took those decisions to reparent it and to tell to give it trust in you. But that's a whole other story. Yes, but there are Claudia, I read you. I think there are as well circles in churches who do a lot of work of this in the States. So you can always reach out to people like that as well. There's a lot of help. So just try and find it, because it's such a shame to be angry, to have an anger problem. It's such life is so beautiful. Just enjoy it, and this help will help you. Okay, Lilith. Well, Lilith really is there for deep conversations. And you can start working with her, Claudia, but be aware what you're asking for, because she is really powerful, and you must being prepared to go on that self-transformational path, because otherwise she will push you, pummel you, beat you, anything like that, till you are that. In the meantime, she will get out some obstacles out of your way, but mostly she will really try to empower you, and by not having the most beautiful and soft experiences, to put it mildly. She really demands respect, and she insists that we're all capable of doing the work, but you really, really must need to. People are being pushed into depression, addictions, everything like that, because they just don't follow up on her. So take it. It's her blessing, it's her gift, and it's her curse. So she will really force you to look at your inner darkness and what's happening there. And to me, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of being alive. So therefore, I'm really attracted and fascinated by Lilith. So Lilith is there. That's her secrets are that we can always transform the darkness inside of us. We can transcend them. We can make them into something beautiful. So we will shine our light more fully. And we can just do a short practice that you start to work with her, and then just to find out how it will work out for you in the future. We're not going to dive deep in. Dive deep in. Is it okay? Deep dive, yeah. We're just skimming the surface, because it's too much, too far, just to do it in a group session. But I like all of you just to try to give it a try. What's happening, and to what happens when you do and a good work way of working with Lilith as well is the mirror work. Always good work. Just watch yourself in the mirror every day and tell yourself, I love you. You are loved. You are loving. And just notice how you react, because there will be negative responses. And keep doing the work. And it's funny, because this is an aspect that has come up this week as well, more often. But that looking in that mirror, and just to to embrace yourself with all you see, and look in your eyes, that's really important. And then just to that's a beautiful way to work as well with lilies, and there are a lot of other tricks to work with her. I'm not into a lot of that kind of magic work. I don't do sigils and things like that, but they are there. But know what you're asking for, because it's not always the most soft, easiest rides you can expect. She stays mysterious. She is mystical, and she's proud on that. And that's I can only honor her for that. So I'd like to invite all of you now to go and just to skim the surface and to start a little bit to try to get that feeling of working with her. And try the rawness. Rawness is the word that comes up in me. So close your eyes again and go within. Center. Breathe. And set the intention to open up to Lilith's guidance. And only do this when you feel like this. Otherwise, just skip this. Put your hand on your belly and really feel that contact between your hands and the belly. And now imagine there's a spotlight shining from your heart in your second chakra, your belly. And just turn it on and be prepared to sense, but don't dive into the sensations, into the emotions, into the core issues. Don't do this. Just skim, get a higher perspective. And when you turn the spotlight on, you just shine it over all that's what's happening in your belly, because all our emotions are there. There are a lot of emotions just competing there. They have been diving deep, pushing away. Just skim the spotlight over the surface of that bubbling aquifer. And notice what spot is attracting the most light right now. And you don't always need to put words on it. Just trust that what you need to know will be there for you and bubble up and bubble through. I still have to meet the person who doesn't get it. It may take some time, but it will come there. And what taboo, what hidden, what dark issue, emotion, challenge is being enlightened, and coming up to be transcended. There might be, is it coated by a hidden anger, a hidden feeling of guilt? Can you just see the darkness? Just allow yourself to go a little bit deeper with the light. And just feel, sense, but stay on the surface. What are you angry about? What is coming up? Are people crossing your boundaries continually? Are you not being given the pay you deserve? It can be all kind of things. Was you not allowed to experience your spirituality in the way that serves you best? Everything can come up. And just keep breathing and take what comes up in your awareness, what bubbles through to the surface. And thank you for showing it up. And just keep shining the light of the conscious knowledge on it. And relax into this exploration. It's just an exploration of the caves, of the waters. And feel the love in the meantime of the divine embracing you. And know all is well, because you just set out on a completely new journey. And return to the here and now. And stretch a little bit. Make a mental note. And be aware that how much work we ever set out to do, there will always be a new layer to be revealed, ready to come up and be revealed and to be transformed with the help of Lilith, to get it out of the taboo sphere, to get it out of the hidden underworlds, just to allow it to come up, to bubble through and to work with it. And with time, the practice will become easier. And I like you to start to work with this, to start journaling with this, to start meditating with this, to start your guidance, to get more information about it. If you feel stuck at a certain moment, really try to find an experienced coach who can help you through, because I can tell you out of experience, I really work with a lot of people who have done a lot of work already. beautiful people, but there's always one point that it's hard to do this kind of work till the end on your own. It can be hard. I go to mentors, I go to coaches, and then it's just a snip of the finger, and then it's okay. But don't be afraid to reach out. There's just so much you can do on your own. And are you all back again? I like to see some yes. I'd like to have you some experiences if you're willing to share. You don't need to, because I know this is very vulnerable. So I just wait a moment. Penny is back. I get her. Okay, Mary Beth too. Everyone there, Kelly, Mary Johnston, Beth. I just take it your best, and otherwise you're now back. There's some tips and tricks I like to share with how to awaken the divine feminine in you. And I want to return to what Daniel said about it was divine masculine came up for him. When we talked about the divine feminine, what does it mean for you? And of course, that's because it's like that yin yang. There's always that perfect harmony what we're striving at. The yin yang, there's the white curly thing with a little dot in the black, and the black curly thing with a little white black dot in white, and it's all part of each other. It's in my opinion, the masculine is there to make sure that that's the original way of the masculine divine feminine energy, and that as well is my view and my feelings of that has been influenced by the starseed families, Hadar and Alpha Centauri. But when we the masculine should be there to protect the feminine, to allow her to be as full as possible. And the beauty of the masculine divine is that he honors that. He gives it safe protection. He knows when to push things into action, because it's beautiful. They're both beautiful, equal energies. One is not better than the other. They're equal, they're beautiful, and we need both of them in that newer balance. And Lilith showed me the pendulum. When you use a pendulum, it goes from left to the right, and that's what has happened through all these eons as well, and what will be happening. One time it goes more to the feminine, then there's more attention to the masculine, but after a while there comes that point of seemingly stillstand, that point where there's so much energy generated, that perfect moment of being whole in balance and harmony. And that's for me the beautiful dance between the masculine and the feminine, evolving, dancing upwards, and widening, getting more stronger, and being in total respect of each other and trust. And that's something Lilith helps us with. She helps mankind with this, and she helps us all individually with this as well. Ways to invite more and awaken and quickening the divine energy, feminine energy in ourselves is there's a trick, and I love that one. We all have our posture. We all sit as we are. And just now try to angle our left side of our body a little bit more forward. And maybe for you, that's a very natural a feeling. It's your natural way of being. To me, it wasn't. I've always been a girly girl, but as well, I'm really goal driven, and I've got a lot of divine masculine and masculine energy in me. So when I started to really consciously angle my body to the left, and it doesn't always feel comfortable, but the more you do it, it will give you a way to accept and open more for the divine feminine, to go into that waiting, into that fertility, into that deep, deep soil where the seeds are laying await till they are ready to open up and to push through to the in the air into creation. And so just try this and pay attention to this. What does it do? Does it do anything for you? Maybe not. Skip it. Does it work? Does it give you some comfortable or uncomfortable sensation? Just do it. If you feel you're mostly divine feminine orientated, do it the other way around. Just angle your right side of your body. That'll be helpful too. And in the end, there will be that opening up, that widening, and just play with it. It's such a beautiful tool. It's so simple. Try it. Second chakra work helps a lot. And moving our hips, belly dancing, all nice. And as well, allow yourself to go inward, to go into the deep, deep silence, and to allow the answers and the insights to bubble through, to come up from your divine knowing. And what helps as well is develop your intuition even more. So ask a question, look around. What do you see? Is there an animal? Your attention is drawn to a tree, a flower, and just start a conversation with that animal, that tree, that flower, that lamp. What does it remind you of? Where did you meet it before? And then just imagine a conversation between you and that, just say animal in this case, and just and don't think, oh, it's just it's just an imagination. It isn't. Imagination is our soul who's talking to us, the language our soul uses. So just write it down. You will be amazed when you start writing which answers will come through. When you write it, you think, huh? And when you read it, you think, what? And it's so much fun to develop that intuition, that feminine intuition even more, and to bring it out into the world so others can benefit from it and others can rely on you being masters of this, in this balancing, in this play, in this in all of this. And to start to do this, I'd like you to recollect that word, to reconnect to the word you came up with when we started this talk. What does the divine feminine mean for you? And now you ask your higher self, your soul, divine knowing. You ask for the perfect spirit animal that embodies this quality for you to come into your consciousness. And just breathe and be sure the right animal will drop in. Maybe not now, maybe in an hour, maybe tomorrow, but within a couple of days, it will drop in. And you'll be amazed what will happen to you when you start connecting with it, start to develop a bond with it, to have that imaginary conversations, and to dive deeper. And when you really feel, okay, I need really more information, just Google it. You can always use Ted Andrews. He's beautiful. Stephen Farmer. Just use it. It's a beautiful tool we can always use to level up again and to evolve. So, well, I think this is what I wanted to share. It's all about facing your inner demons. And that's where Lilith can help us with and guide us with, so they can be transcended, transformed into the light.
Is it possible for you to connect with Lilith now and see if there's a kind of a closing message that she would like to share with us?
Don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid. Take all the courage you have. Just get it and go out and do this work. It's so important for yourself. It's important for everyone. It's important for the world. Don't be afraid of the dark. No, just shine the light on it. And I think that's it. Don't be afraid of the dark. Because the dark is as well the void of creativity, where creativity is born, where the fractals are living from a new way of living, a new way of being. So don't be afraid of the dark. Just dive deep and know that there is support and there's always a hand being offered to you. So I hope this is helpful.
Beautiful. Love that.
You're welcome.
So having gone through this, if somebody is interested in working with you, and can you talk to us a little bit about the invitation, the special invitation that you've put together for this group?
Yes, there's of course there is an energetic oh, I lost the word. Energetic journey. You can just click on, and then you get a clearing of your energetic system. It's a beautiful one, and it gives a beautiful container and strength to set out to do the work, to become more clear, and to become more whole. As well, I would like to invite you for a free Activate Your Brilliance session. You can click on the Calendly link, and then we can just look and have an idea of what is limiting you, what's your dark point, what can we do to lighten it up. That's a free call with me. As well, if people like to share this with more people or get more connection with other people who are interested in this subject, in this topic, I'm going to invite people on my free cafe champagne pop-up hour. You need to be, and that's we will talk more and share, because this is more a one-way sided conversation, but I like to have your shares as well about the divine feminine, Lilith, everything like that, so we can dive deeper into this topic. And as well, it's a beautiful way to connect to other people who are walking this way. It's free, as I said to you. Make sure that you are in my newsletter, that you get my newsletter. You can do so by signing up via my website, bubblesforyoursoul.com, or make sure that you're in my special Facebook group, Joyful Bubbles for Your Soul, because that's where the invitations will be sent out, and then we can connect. It will be via Zoom. It will be November 22nd. And to me, in Europe, we have a different connotation of the dates. So it's not like in the States, but to us, when we say November 22nd, we write it 22/11 for November, 22 for the year. So for me, this is a beautiful portal to talk about this. And that's called the Champagne Cafe Hour, and it's a free gift from me for my community. And it's a gift to get to know each other better, to not feel so that isolated on your way.
Beautiful. So I was just sent a note that the link to the special offer isn't working. So I'm going to take a quick look and see if that's what's going on there. But bubblesforyoursoul.com
Yes.
is a great way to connect with Florentine.
It did work last week, so
Yeah,
I'm
it
not quite
worked for
sure what
me
happened.
too.
Yeah.
So I'm just double checking to see if there's something didn't go wrong there along the way. And I'm just going to create a quick, sorry, this is a little logistical thing. I just want to make sure that you guys have the information. Yeah, so it seems to be working on my end. So let me post the link here. Oops. Sorry, Claudia, I just sent you a direct message by accident. Everyone. So this is the link to our special offer, and there's also information there. For whatever the reason, if it doesn't work, I apologize. It might be something that I'm not seeing really quickly. Feel free to send us an email, either Florentine or myself directly, and we can point you in the right direction as well. So for those of you that are with us, if anybody wants to ask any questions or anything comes up for you, we have a few more minutes. You're more than welcome to kind of, come online if you'd like. And if not, that's okay too. Florentine, thank you for introducing us to Lilith's energy and her story, inviting us to work with her as we feel courageous to step into our darkness and step into our shadows, to take a look at that side of ourselves. You've got some people that are saying that they've just joined your group. and
Yes,
and
thank you,
giving you
all of you.
thanks.
Thank you all for being here. Yes.
So thank you
And
guys for being here. Really appreciate it. And Florentine, I love the little trick that of just kind of bringing your shoulder forward just a little bit, just to shift the energy a little bit more towards the feminine or more towards the masculine. I love that little trick. I'm gonna definitely borrow that.
yeah, tell me about it. Let me know.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all. There's so much small things we can do that has such a huge effect, and that's the beauty of this work, I feel. Yeah. So I like to thank all of you. Thank you, Danielle. Namaste, and have a beautiful day. Then, and thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, Danielle. I will be asleep, but I will catch the replay. So yeah.
Beautiful. So for those of you that are going to be with us, the next session is at the top of the hour as usual. It'll be with Joe Monkman. He's someone that was introduced to me fairly recently, so I'm curious to see where that conversation is going to go. Really excited to introduce him to you guys and for me to get to know him better as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So Florentine, get some rest. Thank you for being with us. Lots of love to you, and we will talk soon. And for those of you who are going to be joining us, and until next time, whenever that might be, being spirit, being human, and simply being from love. Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more, have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.